I cleaned the whole house over the weekend, and by Monday, it looked like a hurricane had swept through here. Did you have the same experience? It's frustrating, isn't it? I spent hours tidying everything up, putting each item in its place, and yet, within just a few days, the mess returned with a vengeance. It felt as if I had never cleaned anything at all. That's when I realized I was just cleaning, not truly organizing. There's a huge difference between the two. I spent years of my life fighting against the clutter without understanding why. No matter how much time I dedicated to cleaning, the sense of chaos always came back. Today, I want to share with you a discovery that completely transformed my relationship with my home. These aren't just methods for folding clothes or organizing drawers. It's a pathway to transforming chaotic spaces into environments that truly bring peace to your mind. And the most interesting thing, when I changed my home, my mind changed as well. It all started when I realized that cleaning is only part of the process. What really makes a difference is intentional organization, conscious detachment, and creating spaces that actually make sense for your daily life. That's how I discovered Japanese minimalism. Let's start with the basics. The difference between cleaning and organizing. Cleaning is about removing dirt, it's something superficial. Organizing, on the other hand, is about creating a system that works for you, that makes sense, and that lasts over time. A house can be clean, dust-free, and everything in its place, yet still completely disorganized. Items without a defined purpose, stuffed cabinets, drawers that won't close. The issue is, as long as you're just cleaning, you're only addressing the symptoms of the problem. True organization begins with a difficult question. Why do I have so many things I don't use? Why do I keep items that don't bring me any real benefit? When I started applying the principles of Japanese minimalism, the first thing I learned was to question every object in my home. Not in an abstract way, but with practical questions. Have I used this in the last 6 months? Does this item bring me joy? Or does it just take up space? If I lost this today, would I buy it again? These questions led me to the first real step of transformation, letting go. And to be honest, it wasn't easy. I had clothes I hadn't worn in years, but I kept them just in case. Books I would never read, but I kept them on the shelf to impress guests. Items I received as gifts and held on to out of sheer obligation. Letting go doesn't happen overnight. It's a muscle you develop gradually. I started with small items, things that clearly had no utility. Inkless pens, old magazines, plastic containers without lids. And little by little I gained the confidence to question larger items. One day I found myself staring at a cabinet full of towels. I had over 20. How many towels does one person really need? I kept 4 and donated the rest. And that's how it went with almost everything in my home. The second step was understanding the importance of empty space. In Japanese culture, empty space is not something to be filled, but something to be valued. It's the space that allows you to breathe, that lets your mind rest, that enables energy to flow. A shelf doesn't need to be full to be useful. A wall doesn't need to be covered with pictures to be beautiful. I began to create intentional empty spaces in every room. In the living room, I removed half of the decorative objects. In the bedroom, I left only the essentials on the furniture. In the kitchen, I kept only the utensils I actually used. The result was immediate. Coming home became a completely different experience. The third step was to create systems that really worked for my routine. There's no point in having a beautiful home if it's not practical. Every item needed to have a designated place, a place that made sense for daily use. In the kitchen, for example, I organized the utensils by frequency of use. The items I use every day are always within reach. The ones I use once a week are tucked away a bit more, and so on. This simple system eliminated the frustration of having to rummage through drawers and cabinets every time I needed something. In the office, I created a system for papers and documents. Each category had its own folder, and there was a specific time each week for filing new documents. Gone were the days of that pile of papers that just kept growing on my desk. In the closet, I organized clothes by type and color, keeping only what I actually wore and what matched with each other. The result? Less time wasted deciding what to wear, fewer impulse buys, and more space. But the fourth step was perhaps the most important: daily maintenance. It's pointless to do a big cleaning if the next day everything returns to chaos. Maintenance has to be part of the routine, something as natural as brushing your teeth. I created little daily rituals. 5 minutes before bed to tidy up the room, 10 minutes after dinner to put the kitchen in order, 3 minutes after arriving home to put away my bag, keys and mail. These small moments, when added up, prevent clutter from accumulating. And here's an important concept. Doing a little each day is much better than trying to do it all at once. This gradual approach is far more sustainable and less stressful. The fifth step was understanding the connection between the items we have and our mental state. Objects carry memories, associations, energy. Some bring us joy, while others remind us of difficult times. Some inspire us, while others distract us. I started to be much more selective about what I allowed into my home. Before buying something new, I began to ask myself, does this really improve my life? Does it serve a clear purpose? Will it bring joy in the long run, or is it just a momentary satisfaction? This awareness completely transformed my consumption habits. I stopped buying on impulse, out of boredom, or as an emotional crutch. I began to value quality over quantity, durability over fleeting trends. The sixth step was to bring beauty to spaces through simplicity. In Japanese aesthetics, beauty is not synonymous with ostentation or excess. On the contrary, true beauty lies in simplicity, authenticity, and functionality. I started to appreciate objects that were both beautiful and functional. A well-designed kettle that is a pleasure to use every day. A comfortable chair that is also a joy to look at. A simple vase that highlights the natural beauty of a few flowers. I discovered that the fewer objects I had, the more I could appreciate each of them. Each piece had space to breathe, to be noticed, to fulfill its purpose without competing with the excess around it. The seventh step was to align my spaces with the natural rhythms of the day and the seasons. In Japanese tradition, there is a deep connection with nature and its cycles. This is reflected in the organization of spaces, which should adapt to and celebrate the changes of time. I began to make small seasonal changes in my home. In the summer, lighter fabrics, brighter colors, and more open spaces for air circulation. In the winter, cozier textures, warmer lighting, and arrangements that invite comfort. These changes, even if subtle, bring a sense of harmony with the outside world, a connection to something greater than our daily concerns. The eighth step was to bring awareness to cleaning routines. It's not just about cleaning out of obligation, but transforming cleaning into an act of care and mindfulness. Instead of viewing cleaning as a burden, I began to see it as a way to honor my space and express gratitude for the shelter my home provides. This shift in perspective made all the difference. Cleaning mindfully means observing each object as I clean it, noticing details that might otherwise go unnoticed, feeling textures, and appreciating shapes. It's a form of moving meditation that brings benefits beyond just the physical space. The ninth step was understanding the importance of entries and exits. In Japanese tradition, the entryway of a home is a space of transition between the outside world and the sanctuary of the home. It's where we leave behind the chaos and worries of the day. I created a small ritual for entering my home, a place to leave my shoes, a hook for my bag, and a small tray for my keys and phone. This simple system prevents items from scattering throughout the house and creates a conscious transition between the outside and the inside. The same applies to exits. Having everything organized and at hand when I need to leave reduces stress and the feeling of racing against the clock. The 10th step, and perhaps the deepest, was accepting imperfection. In Japanese philosophy, there is a concept that celebrates the beauty of the imperfect, the unfinished and the impermanent. It's about understanding that perfection is not a state to be achieved, but a continuous process of learning and adaptation. I realized that I was searching for a perfect home, like the ones I saw in magazines or on social media. But those images are artificial, created for photos, not for living in. The true beauty of a home lies in the marks of use, in the small imperfections that tell the story of those who live there. Accepting imperfection doesn't mean being careless or neglectful. It means finding beauty in the real, the authentic, the alive. It means creating spaces that serve life, not the other way around. This journey of transforming my home was, in fact, a path of personal transformation. Every object I let go of, every space I simplified, every system I created was a step toward a more mindful, intentional life, more aligned with my true values. Today, my home is not perfect, but it is serene. It's not a showroom, but it is an authentic reflection of who I am and what I value. And most importantly, it is a space that supports me, facilitates my daily life, and allows me to truly rest. And the best part? This transformation is within anyone's reach. It doesn't require a lot of money, a large house, or expensive furniture. It only requires intention, awareness, and small, consistent actions. You can start today with a small step. Choose a drawer, a shelf, a corner of your home. Apply the principles I've shared. Question each object. Create space. Establish a simple system. Maintain it with small daily actions, and observe how this small transformed space affects your mood, your energy, your sense of well-being. Use that inspiration to take the next step, and then the next. Remember, it's not about having the perfect home. It's about creating a space that reflects who you are, that supports your dreams and goals, that serves as a true refuge in an often chaotic and noisy world. It's about understanding that our relationship with the objects and spaces around us is deep and meaningful. The way we organize our home directly impacts how we feel, how we think, how we live. When I understood this, I stopped fighting against the mess and began intentionally creating a home that was truly mine. A home that reflects not what magazines or social media say I should have, but what really matters to me. The result was more than just an organized house. It was a clearer mind, a lighter heart, a life more focused on what truly matters. This is the true power of Japanese minimalism. It's not just about having fewer things, but about making more conscious choices. It's not about living with the bare minimum, but with enough. It's not about sacrifice, but about an abundance of space, time, and attention. Each object in my home now has a purpose, a story, a meaning. Every space was created with intention, with awareness, with care, and that makes all the difference. When you enter an environment like this, you can feel it immediately. There's a quality in the air, a sense of calm, order, and intentionality. It's as if the space is embracing you, welcoming you, allowing you to simply be. You don't need to be a design expert, have a huge budget, or live alone to create this kind of environment. It's possible to adapt these principles to any reality, any space, any stage of life. Families with children can teach the value of organized space early on by creating simple systems that even little ones can follow. Those sharing a home with others can start with their own spaces, inspiring by example, not by imposing. Those living in small spaces can benefit even more from these principles, as every inch counts and every organizational decision makes a difference. What's important is to start, to take the first step no matter how small, to understand that transformation happens in everyday life, in small choices, and through consistent actions. And always remember that the ultimate goal is not aesthetic perfection, but well-being. It's not about impressing others, but creating a space that nurtures your own soul. When you clean but still feel cluttered, it's because you haven't yet found that deep connection between your space and your inner self. It's because you're still following external rules, not your own intuition about what truly works for you. Japanese minimalism is not a rigid set of rules, but an invitation to reflection, awareness, and intention. It's a path to discovering what really matters to you, what truly brings joy to your days. And when you find that path, organization stops being a chore and becomes an expression of who you are. Cleaning ceases to be a burden and transforms into an act of self-care. Letting go stops being a sacrifice and becomes a liberation. And your home transitions from just a place where you sleep and store your things to a true home, a space that supports you, inspires you, and empowers you for the challenges out in the world. This journey has transformed my relationship with my home, and I know it can transform yours too. Because in the end, we're not just organizing objects. We're organizing our own lives, creating space for what truly matters, for what genuinely brings meaning and joy. And there's no better feeling than opening your front door and feeling that peace, that sensation of I'm home that goes far beyond the physical walls. It's a state of mind, a feeling of belonging, of being exactly where you're meant to be. This is the true gift that Japanese minimalism offers us, and it's within reach for all of us, one small step at a time. Share this blessed video so it can touch and help others like you and me. Don't forget to click the subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being part of our community of faith. If you want to support our channel a little more, consider becoming a member of our channel. Here are 2 more videos for you to continue your journey. Thank you, and may God bless you all. See you soon.